crying on the phone saying, I do not want to be with the agency. These people are not, I don't want to book this meeting. And you were just like, yeah. And I was just like, I don't even want to be with the agency.
Now she's signed to an agency, everyone.
It's so funny. Oh my God. I can remember that moment so. Oh my God, I was so frustrated.
Get up in there.
I was so sad. What year that was?
What are you talking about?
When we had to book the agency
meetings, yes.
And I went into that place and they did not want to see me at all. They were just like, what the fuck are you even doing here? Excuse me. And
which agency was it?
Girl, it wasn't even an agency. I remember the name. It was like some hole in the wall. They just had one room as an office.
It wasn't.
I ended up booking the agency with what's that guy's name I wanted to sign you?
Kim Barbosa.
Right.
It wasn't them. It was someone else.
He was the one I actually got the meeting with. But the other people was like not.
They wasn't trying to have it. Okay.
Yeah.
That was so tough. Just that whole experience was tough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that I don't want to spend too much time on the transitioning part, but like the fact that when you do get into being a freelance makeup artist, is like that's when the work begins. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, I'm full-time freelance. Okay, but what does that mean now? Right. There's no structure to your day. Mm-hmm. There is like who's managing you? Mm-hmm. You are. And if you don't manage yourself, you Netflix and chill for the rest of your life.
Right. I've been doing that.
I know. Did you watch Turn Up Charlie?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I haven't. I try not to watch TV in the daytime. I don't know. I feel guilty watching TV in the daytime.
Hi guys, welcome back to a new episode of The Life of a Makeup Artist. And this is a very special episode because one, it's our first visual episode, but also it's our first guest. And we have the beautiful and wonderful LB Charles, who is a friend of mine. And today we're going to be talking about transitioning from full-time to freelance. And I found that this is a really important conversation to have because when I was transitioning, Lakeisha was my right hand along the way, and we have some stories to tell. Yes. So I wanted to introduce you guys to my very dear friend, LB, and also kind of give you a little background on who she is. Now, I don't know if she's very soft-spoken and doesn't like to brag on herself, so I'm going to do it. LB has worked with brands like L'Oreal, Fenty Puma, Wella, Eloquii, has worked with networks like ABC, BT, Fox, MTV, ESPN. If I continue, we'll be here all night. But she has also worked with celebs like Omari Hardwick and Kate McKinnon, and the list goes on. So, LB, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I'm very honored that I'm your first visual.
Oh my god!
Very honored.
Oh, and my first guest too.
Yes, I'm excited.
So, tell us a little bit about. You can go in a little bit about you and like your journey as an artist, but I really want to focus on your transition from moving from full-time to freelance. Now, I really wanted to have this conversation because when I moved to New York, I don't have any kids yet. I'm not married yet, but you came into New York having a daughter, being married. So we are coming from very different what would you say? Like perspectives, a different perspective, but we're walking a similar road. Right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's nice to have that conversation because we're not all living the same life. Right. So if you want to tell the people.
Okay, so take you a little bit back a little bit. I grew up in a military family, so do you want me to talk to you or the camera? Sorry.
Which camera is hers?
Talk to the camera.
Her main one.
Just talk to Jaleesa, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so grew up in a military family. We moved around a lot. I moved to 3 different states, 3 different schools in the 2nd grade. Like we moved.
Wow.
We moved a lot. But my dad retired from the military. We ended up moving to Arizona. So I moved to Arizona my junior year. Lived there for 12 years, longest place I've ever lived. Had a baby there. I got married there.
She's the bomb. I love her. Hey, Sam.
Got married there, but I didn't know much. I didn't grow up putting on makeup. My mother didn't wear makeup, and when I finally got introduced to it, I instantly fell in love. And I was in college at the time, and I was like, yeah, Mom, I don't want to go to college. I want to do makeup. That was the whole thing. But fast forward, I started working at a salon full time, and then was doing freelance work on the side. And by all that time, I was married, and I was ready to transition full-time freelance in Arizona. I was feeling comfortable. I had clients. My husband calls me. I was working at Mac at the time. He calls me.
We all were working at Mac.
He calls me, and I answer the phone, and he's like, "Hey, so we're moving to Harlem." I was like, "We are?"
Oh, my
When?
God.
I was like, "When?" He was like, "Yeah, I start work next month."
Oh, my God.
We hadn't planned. We hadn't saved. Nothing like that.
So you didn't have any time.
I had never even been to New York City in my entire life. Had
Wow.
never been here. And so I knew I always wanted to come here. I just didn't know how I was going to get here. And he just presented it on a platter.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's go.
And like for me, it was so different because I was born here. I grew up in Trinidad, and like I would come to New York every summer, sometimes every winter. So I was very familiar with the place. But I wanted to leave Trinidad, but not without a job. So I was like, Mac, knock, knock. Like, I'm trying to be up in the air. So it's crazy how it happens so differently for everybody. You know what I mean? But continue.
Yeah, so he came first. I had some complications that held me back in Arizona for a little bit, and I actually didn't come until I was supposed to be here in July. I didn't get here till September. My daughter's 4, and in Arizona, they wouldn't let her start school.
Wow.
So I called the New York schools and was like, will you let her start school? And they were like, yes. I flew here the day before school started, got her vaccinations, and put my baby in school so that I didn't have to pay for childcare anymore.
That's great.
And then I was here, and I had talked my husband into letting me be full-time freelance, and he was a little, apprehensive about it because
New York is expensive.
Exactly. But I had to work very, very hard with a child in Arizona. I had to turn away many, many jobs, not only because I was working, but also because I had a child. And I was like, I just need to immerse myself into this.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be in it.
Give it 100%.
Exactly. So he said yes. And so I got here. I flew into LaGuardia, and I was like, where am I?
So let's go back to April 2015.
Okay.
Because that's when we met.
Yes.
So we were at a summit held by Crystal, right? And it was with a bunch of different educators, and there was a lot of other artists there. And I feel like it was upstairs. We were having like a random conversation. I feel like
Maybe.
I remember so clearly. It was me, you, and like some photographers, and we were like, oh, you're like, oh, I live in Harlem. And I was like, oh, I live in Harlem too, And I feel like ever since that, we were kind of inseparable.
Yes.
And it doesn't always happen like that, but fortunately, we were able to grow a really nice friendship. Now, at that summit, I won a competition, and it was for 30 days of coaching. So much time had went by, and I was still working at Mac at the time. And my mentor was like, I recommend that you do this class with someone. And at first, I was like, I'm not ready. I want to do it by myself. Like, I just feel like I'm so behind. I'm always at work. Everybody else is like full time and doing their thing. They have so much time. I don't have that, the luxury of time. And she was like, you really need to have a partner. And I knew so many people, but I was like, who would be the best fit? And that person was you. And it was so funny because in that time, I spoke about this in the Life of a Makeup Artist series on my YouTube. When I first left my job, I said that I really planned on leaving my job the following April. But within 3 months of this coaching, I left my job. And LB was my right hand. Now, can you speak a little bit on what this coaching from Linda Zirkus, let's be real, because it was not easy.
Yeah, it's like freelance boot camp.
It really was, and just to go back a bit, like when you're leaving your job, like obviously that's another conversation to be had because it's very difficult, but here we're talking about when you're finally in the pool of being a freelancer. It's like, okay, who manages me now? Who's going to stop me from Netflixing and chilling all day? Nobody, you know what I mean? So having this coach, Linda Zirkus, teach us, what it really takes to be a freelance makeup artist, to the point where we had about 3 different classes of artists that we mentored.
Yes, after.
And, there was a particular moment that I had in these streets. I was crying in these streets. So I had to. So you tell them what we had to do because we had some insane activities
Yes.
every week, and if we did not complete those activities, we would not have our coaching call,
Right.
which happened many times,
Yes.
which I cried about sometimes, and sometimes it was my fault. So she would miss her class, or I would miss it, and it was just like a mess.
And
But
we
you
feel
go ahead.
bad. Yes, it held you accountable though, so it was good. But so this week we had to. Linda made us. We had to book a meeting with an agency, and that's a hard task. Who, even established artists who could call an agency today and feel comfortable with getting a meeting or even be called in for a meeting. So we both had never done that before. We had just been mostly assisting. We had done jobs on our own, but never even thought.
Never.
And so that's what we had to do that week. And it was tough. Lots of emails. First, you email, because you're scared. But then finally, you got to pick up that phone and get somebody on the phone and try to get in there.
So I'm going to tell you guys what happened. So I had to go to an agency, and at this point, we're both assisting full time. You know what I mean? We're testing here and there, but we really wasn't even testing to the level we are now, or you know what I mean. So I walked into this agency. I can't remember the name of the agency. It was literally just one room. So this is where it's bad because I went low on the poll. I was like, yeah, this agency is definitely gonna have a meeting with me because this agency is like,
right.
This is not it.
You're
you know what I mean?
Want me.
Yeah, like they're definitely gonna see me. I showed up to this place. These people looked at me like I had 5 heads. And I was so pissed. They did not want to talk to me. I walked out and I'm on the phone talking to Lakeisha like, I don't even want to be with the agency. I don't even know I have to do this right now. I'm so bad. I'm crying. Like I am crying my eyes out on Prince Street because I am just like, I do not want to do this, and it's so funny because sometimes like you have to push yourself through those moments to understand you have to be uncomfortable. And I didn't realize that. I think that when people want to leave their jobs to explore a new thing, it's like because you want to be comfortable doing what you want to do, but you don't realize that it's going to be even harder than whatever you were doing before. So I was crying on the phone to Lakeisha, and she's like, no, it's okay, it's fine. And I think that's it's really important to have, some type of accountability or somebody to talk to because being a freelancer could be a very lonely journey.
It's hard.
So from those experiences, going through that training and stuff, what would you say was your, one of your key takeaways in, now you've been in New York for how many years?
It'll be 5 in September.
5 years. And that's crazy because I've just made 6. So you've learned a lot in those 5 years. And from where you were to where you are now, what are 1 or 2 of the things that you can speak to most of for those who are wanting to become full-time freelancers?
No one knows who you are unless you tell them.
Okay.
No one knows who you are. You are not Oprah Winfrey. Don't just expect. Don't expect to walk down the street and everybody knows that you.
My work is good.
Yeah.
You don't follow me.
You have to tell them. There will be lots of no's, but you just gotta keep pushing. And this industry is not for the lighthearted. It's not for someone who doesn't want to work hard. Still to this day, I have trouble managing, my time because I have so many things going on. Sometimes things get put on the back burner,
Yeah.
But so yeah, try to put yourself in front of as many people as possible. And just push through. Just keep pushing through. Because sometimes when you're ready to give up, it's right then when something big is going to happen for you. So just continue that journey. So
I'm just going to, I know this is not makeup related, but I have to tell everyone that LB is a fitness
I'm like,
guru.
what are you going to say?
A fitness guru, and she has transformed her life through fitness, which is very admirable. And I wanted to know, what is it a regular day to day for you? What would you say? I mean, granted, each day is different. You're on different sets. There's different things happening, but you have a daughter. You have a schedule that you have to fit into. And I really want to get this point across to those who are listening, because a lot of people, some might be younger, some might not have children, and you sometimes think that, the time is running out. But it's just like when you have a kid or when you have a husband or when you have whatever else you have going on, you don't have as much hours in the day to do what you want to do, because
Right.
you have to, really accommodate your time and like, manage your time accordingly. So what is your day to day like look like? And you're in the gym, you're reaching out, like what does that look like?
So usually, if I do have to work, depending on the call time, sometimes I get at the gym at 4:30 a.m. Like I make it a point to get there.
Really?
I make it.
What am I doing with my life?
I make it because I'm not a nighttime gym goer. So if I don't go in the morning, then it.
I stretched this morning and I felt so accomplished. I stretched in bed for 10 minutes as like a YouTube stretch video.
You did
Wow.
it. See, yeah,
I did it.
You did
Yeah.
it. So I'll go to the gym. I like a routine, especially after going through the whole thing with Linda. I enjoy a routine now.
Okay.
And if I'm not in that routine, I feel like my day's not going to go as great. So, I'll go go to the gym, go do my job, come home. Sometimes I have to cook still when I come home. Or sometimes, like yesterday, I came home and I had to get my daughter to wash her hair because she had swim earlier that day and get her ready,
And that's
for school the
natural
next
hair.
day.
That is not taking
Yes.
2 minutes. That's going to take a while.
And then when I'm not working that day, I'll go to the gym after I drop her to school. She goes to school at 7:45, so then I'll go to the gym right after that. I try to only spend like an hour in the gym.
Okay.
You can easily get caught up in the gym. You have to make sure. Me, I just go in. I don't talk to nobody. Get out because I know I have other things to do when I get home. Then I'll come home, and then that's when I'll get on my computer.
Okay.
That's when I try to start doing some work, whether it's different every day. Sometimes I'm just updating my website or finding new people to reach out to, or actually reaching out to people, updating comp cards, updating my resume. It's different. It's different each day. I know what I feel like doing with that
Exactly.
day.
Did you always have that nose ring?
Yeah.
Oh my God. When? Did you change the ring?
No, I've always had it. Is it like poking out right here? Is that why you're asking?
No, I just feel like it looks new. Like I haven't seen it in a while.
I don't know. I washed my face before I came. Maybe it's like listening.
Right. I have my fake one I use, but
No, yeah, I've always had it.
damn, I'm a bad friend. What's going on?
Well, I don't think most people can see it
Yeah,
because
it's
it's
so
like
small,
a little,
right?
yeah.
So, are there any other things that you would want to add? I feel like when we first were getting into the industry, it was very different. Social media was not, it was there, but it wasn't really like what it is today.
Right.
And I think that especially those who are looking to get into the industry, I think that it's not the same. You know what I mean? It's not where you just have a portfolio, you have great work. It's a balance of who you are, a balance of showing your personality, a balance of actually still having good business acumen. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people...
No nude selfies, guys.
Yeah, like I think a lot of people forget that because it's so social and but still saying thank you, still following up.
Yes.
And one of the things that I would attribute to even me being signed is that I sent a thank you note. You know what I mean? And, a lot of people, I didn't even know that, but my agent told me, like, you sent a thank you note. You said thank you, you sent me a gift. And I think that there is a kind of a lack of that in this generation coming up. And I think that we should still talk about those things, like still sending professional emails, following up. What advice would you give to the younger generation coming up, like wanting to be in this industry? Like, yes, you can do your social media, obviously do your thing, but you really had a boot camp in the business of it. You were sending out 60 com cards, 50, reaching out to 50 emails, doing research, going on all these websites. And I think that sometimes people just want to like, oh, how did you do that? And they just want to just say, hey, how'd you do that? And then like do exactly what you did. And it's not a one size fit all. You know what I mean? We all don't have the same work or the same style.
Right.
So, what would you say on the business side of things is something that are timeless, that is not going to go away?
Timeless, that's not going to go away. Well, just saying thank you.
Yeah.
Just, try to be humble, stay humble. You never know who your next boss is going to be, ever. someone might be a D-lister, but they might shoot up and surpass you, and if you were shitty to them, they're not bringing you on the job. They're not bringing you with them,
I've heard stories.
So, no matter where you go in your career, just, stay humble, say thank you, be grateful for all the opportunities, because honestly, we are living these are like dream jobs, to sometimes even now I sit on sets and I'm not like starstruck or anything because, I've been around,
Been around,
I'm just saying I've been around. But sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm like, dang, I'm here right now. Yeah.
Like, wait, pitch me. No, I know how you feel, and it's amazing for us to sit here 5 years later, like since meeting each other, and we're like, I was really crying on these streets and on Prince Street, like, I don't want to do this.
And now she's fine.
I tried, But you're right, being grateful and being humble, because you just really never know.
You never know.
And the thing is like, especially now, I think that things are moving so fast with social media and like just new brands coming out. It's just like you have to really know who you are as an artist.
And you have to create your own path, because it's not just like a one path anymore. There are artists who have been in this game forever, and now they are not just doing editorials. They are also, in the union doing TV now, and they're doing everything. So now you really can create your own path, and so like you were saying, know who you are, and open some doors for yourself.
And another, one of the last things I want to touch on is that, yes, we send out emails, we're really professional, but we got to talk about money.
Okay.
So it's,
okay.
We did a lot. We had to do deal memos. We had to learn what a deal memo was. We had to follow up. We had to make sure we got our money, because that is a very common thread. For those of you who are not from New York, there is an act that was passed called Freelance Isn't Free, and that's because it has gotten so bad that a law needed to be passed. And I just want you to speak a little bit about how you follow up with your payments. How do you manage your money? I feel as though there is so much financial help out there, and I think that some people have student loans. I personally don't have any, but some people have student loans, and they're like, how am I gonna become a freelance artist? How am I gonna dive into what I really want to do, and still stay afloat?
This is a good one, because that has put me to the test this year, because I am the money maker in my household right now, because my husband's a full-time student. So, we did a lot of learning. We did a lot of learning this year. But, so deal memos, don't be afraid to write them. It's a contract that you're writing. Some people will try to bully you and tell you that they're not going to sign it. But, you just let them know it's for your records. And if you don't know what a deal memo is, it states what job you're doing, how much you're going to get paid, and when you're going to get paid.
Yeah.
And you have them sign it. And then, whatever you guys decide on. And once it gets kind of close, you just check in, so humbly, via email. Like, hey, I hope you didn't forget about me.
Hi, just following up.
Yes. Just, let me know if there's anything else you need me to send you. I'm happy to help. Always keep it nice. People always want to help nice people, for the most part. If you come in there, trying to bogart people for your money, you might get a little bit of resistance. They might not call you back next time. So, try to keep it peaceful. But, and then for me, what I've been doing when I get my checks, half of it, I have 2 accounts now. Half the money goes into an account to pay bills, and I don't touch it. And then the other half is for us to live on. So that's how I've been, that's what has been working for me. I'm sure there's many ways to do it, but, you got to create a budget. You can't just be out here sliding them debit cards anymore.
Buying on makeup all the time, every release.
Right, because especially if you're doing a net 30, you do a job, you made, $1,200, but you're not getting that check, for 30 days. Yeah. So you have to, teach yourself to live on that money that you got.
And if it's fashion, 6 months.
Yes.
10 years. It's been 82 years.
You done forgot about the check. You're like, oh,
You like surprising?
where does money come from? What's this job?
Oh my God. Well, it's so timely that you said that, because on next episode, I'm going to be going into freelance money management and a lot of some of the tips and things that I've done, since leaving my job, because I feel like you were there when I was with it was me, you, Eric Williams, Sherry. We were talking about like finances at Crystal's panel. But I feel like this was a really good episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
LB,
having me.
For coming on to my little show. If you want to follow more of Lakeisha's journey, her Instagram is?
It's LB Charles Beauty.
And there's more. What's the other one? Do you want the other one too?
Oh, if you guys want to follow my fitness journey, it's lifts_LBs. So like pounds, LBs, my name, play on words.
And are there any closing words or anything you want our audience to know?
Just stay the journey. Don't get caught up in social media, trying to be like everyone else. Me personally, I like to do like very beautiful, maybe more like commercial makeup. And that's not what everyone does.
Yeah.
But stick to what you like to do, and there will be a client for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just stay true to yourself and keep going, and everything will work out.
I completely agree. Thank you so much, LB, for being on the show.
Thank you.
And we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.